Okay, no? So, welcome to our channel, no? So, our topic for today is yung tinatawag nating PS29 or Reporting in Hyperinflationary Economy. Okay? So, when we talk about hyperinflationary economy, we're talking about the functional currency. Okay? Okay, so pag sinabi nating functional currency, ito yung primary currency ng iisang bansa. Okay, pagdating dito sa Pilipinas, ang functional currency natin is yung Philippine Peso. Okay, ngayon pag sinabi naman nating inflation, okay, pag sinabi nating inflation, ito yung pag-increase ng price. Okay, pag-increase ng general price, no, mapa-service man or goods, na kung saan nagkakaroon ng decrease of purchasing power. Okay, so ibig sabihin, for example, no, yung dati na 100 pesos mo na Jollibee chicken, okay, next year is magkakaroon na ng decrease or increase of price amounting to 110. Ang tawag dyan is inflation. Okay, na kung saan yung dating 100 pesos mo nagkaroon ng decrease of purchasing power kasi hindi niya na mabili yung dating Jollibee chicken mo na 100 kasi next year tumaas na ang kanyang presyo. Ang tawag doon is inflation. Currently, ang inflation sa Pilipinas is 2.9%. Okay? Ngayon, under PS29, sinasabi na meron daw hyperinflation. When we say hyperinflation, it is an extremely rapid and uncontrollable increase in prices, typically exceeding 50% per month. It erodes the purchasing power of money, leading to economic instability as consumer and business lose confidence in the currency. Hyperinflation is often caused by excessive money supply, government debt, or severe economic disruption. So, yung inflation mo is nagkaroon ng hyperinflation. So, ibig sabihin, there is an extremely rapid and uncontrollable increase in price. So, balik tayo sa example natin. For example, yung 100 na Jollibee chicken mo, next month naging 200 at next month after that is naging 300. Ang tawag doon is hyperinflation na kung saan nadodoble ang presyo niya kada buwan. Okay? Meron bang bansang nakaka-experience ng hyperinflation? The answer is yes. No? Currently, ang nakaka-experience is Argentina na kung saan ang kanilang inflation rate is 200+%. No? Okay? Ngayon, under hyperinflation, under PS29, required sila na i-report yung kanilang financial statement under PS29 kapag ang bansa or yung functional currency is merong hyperinflation. Ngayon, PS29 states that financial reporting in a hyperinflation economy does not establish an absolute rate at which hyperinflation is deemed to arise. So, hindi sinasabi ng standard kung ano ba talaga yung absolute rate of increase, no, ng inflation para masabing merong hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is a matter of judgment. Kaya ngayon, ang ginawa ng standard is nag-provide siya ng mga instances na merong hyperinflation. Okay? So, hyperinflation is indicated by characteristic of economic environment of a country which include but are not limited to the following. So, letter A is yung general population prepared to keep its wealth in non-monetary assets or in relatively stable foreign currency. Accordingly, amounts held in local currency are immediately invested in non-monetary asset or stable foreign currency to maintain purchasing power. So, ang ginagawa ng general population is nililipat nila yung kanilang local currency sa mga non-monetary asset. Example ng mga non-monetary asset is yung mga PPE, intangible asset, and mga investment properties. O kaya naman, kung hindi naman sa non-monetary asset, nililipat nila sa relatively stable foreign currency. So, example ng mga relatively stable foreign currencies, the US denomination, no, yung mga US dollars, na kung saan kapag yung local currency daw is nililipat ka agad-agad dun sa relatively stable foreign currency. So, possible merong hyperinflation. Next, letter B. The general population regards monetary amounts not in terms of local currency but in terms of relatively stable foreign currency. So, meron daw silang mga monetary amounts pero ang nilalaman is not the local currency but rather ang laman is mga relatively stable foreign currency. Next, sales and purchase on credit take place at a price that compensate for the expected loss of purchasing power during the credit period, even the period is short. So, nagkakaroon ng sales and purchases on credit para lang makover yung mga expected loss ng purchasing power. Meron daw possible hyperinflation. Interest rate, wages, prices are linked to a price index. So, pag sinabi nating price index, ito yung average indexing, okay? Na kung saan minomonitor mo yung interest rate, wages, and prices. Minomonitor mo yung kinikip track mo yung interest rate, wages, and prices para mabantayan mo yung tinatawag na inflation. So, possibly magkaroon ng hyperinflation kapag ka nakalink na yung mga interest rate, wages, and prices sa tinatawag na price index. And letter E, the cumulative rate over 3 years is approaching or exceeding to 100%. So, yung inflation, yung rate of inflation over the past 3 years, pag pinagsama-sama mo is magto-total or mag-i-exceed sa 100%. Okay? Possibly magkaroon ng hyperinflation. Ngayon, sinabi ni PAS 29 yung mga instances na mayroong hyperinflation. Pero, nasa entity pa rin, entity's judgment pa rin, kung magkakaroon ng required financial restatement. Okay? Financial reporting in hyperinflation economy under PAS 29 paragraph 8 requires that the financial statements of an entity operating in a hyperinflationary economy be expressed in terms of the measuring unit current at the end of the reporting period. This ensures that the financial information remains relevant and comparable despite the distortion caused by hyperinflation. So, required daw na kung saan kapag merong hyperinflation yung economy na nag-ooperate yung entity, is kailangan ilipat siya dun sa unit current or sa current unit at the end of the reporting period. The standard strictly prohibits presenting the required adjustment as supplementary information rather than incorporating them directly into the financial statements. So, yung standard, ipinagbabawal yung paglalagay ng additional supplementary information. Kailangan i-reflect mo daw mismo sa financial statement yung effect ng hyperinflation. Kaya, entities must apply restatement, procedure to adjust financial figures for inflation, ensuring that the asset, liabilities, income, and expenses reflect their real value. Ang tawag sa prosesong pag-a-adjust mo ng financial statements kapag may hyperinflation is tinatawag na constant peso accounting, na kung saan it involves adjusting the historical cost-based financial statements using a general price index. By implementing this approach, PAS 29 enhances the reliability of financial reporting in hyperinflationary environment, helping user make well-informed economic decision. Okay? So, kapag merong constant peso accounting, no, ito yung pinaghihiwalay mo, yung monetary and non-monetary asset, na kung saan ang ina-adjust mo is yung mga non-monetary assets. Na tina-times mo iyon dun sa tinatawag na general price index. Kung magkano ba talaga yung effect ng hyperinflation sa mga non-monetary asset. Okay? So, constant peso accounting is the restatement of conventional or historical financial statement in terms of current purchasing power of the peso using index number. So, nililipat mo nga yung conventional approach mo na financial statements papunta dun sa index, no? Sa index number, sa general price index. Constant peso accounting is also known as purchasing power or price level accounting kasi nga inililipat mo sila yung historical cost mo papunta sa purchasing power. The traditional concept of preparing financial statement based on historical cost is known as nominal peso accounting. So yung historical cost, ang tawag doon is nominal peso accounting. Pag nilipat mo sa purchase power, ang tawag na sa kanya is price level accounting or constant peso accounting. Okay? Okay, no? So, ang steps, no? Ang steps required kapag may constant peso accounting is kailangan ilipat mo or i-identify mo muna kung ano ba yung mga monetary and non-monetary items mo. Okay? Ang monetary items mo, PAS 21 defines monetary items as money held and asset and liabilities to be received or paid in fixed or determinable amount of money. The essential features of monetary item is the right to receive or an obligation to deliver a fixed or determinable amount. In simple language, monetary items refers to cash and assets that represents a fixed amount of peso to be received or obligation that represent a fixed amount of peso to be paid. So, ang general concept ng monetary items is yung pag-write mo to receive money or an obligation to deliver or to pay an absolute amount of money. Example natin ng mga monetary items is yung mga accounts payable, accounts receivable, yung cash mo nga. Yan yung mga example natin ng mga monetary items. Next is yung mga non-monetary items. Non-monetary items by process of exclusion may be defined as those items that cannot be classified as monetary. So, these items are so-called non-monetary because their peso amount reported in the financial statements differ from the amounts that are ultimately realizable or payable. The essential features of non-monetary items is the absence of a right to receive or an obligation to deliver a fixed or determinable amount of money. So, pagka non-monetary items, no, by process of elimination, ito yung mga hindi ka sigurado kung magkano ba talaga ang matatanggap mo sa kanila, no? Hindi ka sigurado kung magkano yung matatanggap mong pera sa kanila, or hindi ka rin sigurado kung magkano yung kailangan mong bayaran. Example natin is yung mga PPE, mga property, plant, and equipment, mga inventories, no? Lala inventories, no? Kapag pre-process mo siya, pag binenta mo, hindi mo sigurado kung magkano yung magiging value niya. O kaya yung mga PPE, after its life, hindi ka rin sigurado kung magkano mo pa siya maibebenta. Okay, ang example, yun yung mga tinatawag nating non-monetary items. So, ano ang mga kailangan mong i-restate? Ang mga inire-restate mo under hyperinflationary economy is yung mga non-monetary items, no? Kailangan mo sila i-prepare in a constant peso financial statements. Monetary items are not restated anymore because they are automatically stated in terms of current purchasing power. So, example natin, for example, yung cash. Diba yung 100 peso mo na cash naman yan, kahit may hyperinflation, 100 pesos pa din yan. Okay? Kaya hindi mo kailangan i-adjust yung mga monetary items mo. Except for non-monetary items. Kasi nga pag may hyperinflation, for example, yung PPE mo, na dati, possibly pwede mo pa daw mabenta ng 100,000, pero since nagkaroon ng hyperinflation, walang gustong gumastos ng pera. Ngayon, dahil walang gustong gumastos ng pera, bumaba yung pagbebenta mo ng PPE. Therefore, kailangan i-restate mo siya dun sa tinatawag na net realizable value. Kung magkano mo ba siya talaga possibly mabenta. Okay? So, ang formula natin for restatement is yung index number at the end of the reporting period divided by the index number of acquisition date times the historical cost. Okay? So, for example, no, land was acquired on January 1, 2024 for 500,000 when the index number is 125. Ito yung index number on acquisition date. If the land is to be restated on December 31, 2025, when the index number is 300, the restated amount is simply computed as restated amount is equal to 300, okay, yung index number at the end of the period, divided by yung index number at the acquisition date, multiply the historical cost. So, ang restated amount niya is 1.2 million. Okay? So, the general price index, the index number used for the statement is known as the general price index constructed by governments such as Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Okay? So, ang nagpo-provide for the general price index is the BSP, na kung saan sila din yung nagko-compute ng inflation, no? Such as, sila din yung nagko-compute ng mga gross domestic product ng Pilipinas, yung mismong economic features ng Philippines. Such as index is designed to show how much the overall level of prices in the economy has changed over time. An increase in general price index means that the purchasing power of the money has increased. This is popularly known as inflation. A decrease in general price index means that the purchasing power of money has increased. This is popularly known as deflation. So kapag bumaba yung purchasing power, may tinatawag na inflation. Pag tumaas naman ang purchasing power, merong deflation. Okay? Na kung saan minamanage ito ng BSP. Okay? So, gain or loss, no? Gain or loss on purchasing power. Purchasing power means that the goods and services that money can buy in a period of inflation of rising prices a purchasing power loss incurred on the monetary asset and the purchasing power gain is realized on money's liabilities. When prices are rising, monetary asset can buy fewer goods and therefore a purchasing power loss is incurred on monetary asset. On the other hand, the monetary liabilities are paid with monetary asset with less purchasing power and therefore a gain is realized on the settlement on liabilities. So kapag merong inflation, no, pag mayroong inflation, tumataas ang presyo. Okay? Syempre, pag tumaas ang presyo, bumababa yung kakayahanan mong makabili ng isang bagay. On the other hand naman, kung ikaw naman yung makakatanggap ng liabilities, therefore, kung ikaw yung nagpautang, no, kung ikaw naman yung nagpautang, syempre, mas mataas yung matatanggap mo. Okay? Okay, no? So, ang sabi nga natin, kapag mayroong hyperinflation, kailangan i-restate mo yung financial statements mo para ma-reflect yung true value nung price index. Okay? So, paano ba ginagawa yung restatements? So, number 1, kailangan i-identify mo muna lahat ng monetary and non-monetary assets mo. Okay? Next is monetary items are not restated. So, yung mga cash, accounts receivable, accounts payable is hindi mo na kailangan i-restate. Kasi nga, naka-reflect na yung kanilang true value. Non-monetary items are restated. Some non-monetary items that are carried at the end of the reporting period, such as net realizable value and fair value, are no longer restated. Some non-monetary items are carried at revalued amount. In such cases, the carrying amount are restated from the date of revaluation. So, for example natin, ng non-monetary is yung mga inventories. Okay, for example, yung inventories mo, naka-reflect na yung net realizable value. So, kapag naka-reflect na yung net realizable value, hindi mo na siya kailangan i-restate. Whereas, kapag yung inventories mo is naka-reflect yung cost, okay, kailangan ilipat mo muna siya sa net realizable value. Kasi nga, ang measurement mo for inventories is lower of cost and net realizable value. Kung ano mas mababa, yun dapat ang i-reflect mo as part of the financial statements. So kapag may hyperinflation, kapag naka-net realizable value na yan, hindi mo na kailangan i-restate. Pero kapag naka-reflect is yung cost, kailangan ilipat mo sa net realizable value. Okay? All items in the income statements are restated by applying the average index during the year. So kung magkano yung average price index during the year, kailangan mo yan i-reflect sa income statement mo. So kung magkano ang in-announce ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, kailangan i-reflect mo yan sa FS mo. Okay? So the general purchasing power gain or loss is computed on non-monetary asset. So for example, yung 100 mo na cash, okay? Ang sabi natin, hindi mo na kailangan i-restate. Pero, bumababa yung purchasing power niyan kasi nga merong hyperinflation. Ang sabi ng standard is kailangan i-compute mo yung gain or loss. Okay? For example, yung 100 pesos mo na cash, ang mabibili mo na lang is amounting for 50 pesos. Okay? Yung 50 na loss is part of the gain or loss on purchasing power. Okay? Next is the restated amount of property, plant, and equipment and intangible asset is reduced when it exceeds the recoverable amount. Okay, so for example, no, nilipat mo na siya dun sa net realizable amount niya, yung recoverable amount niya. Pero, bumaba pa din. Okay? Mas bumaba pa rin sa net realizable value. Kailangan mo pa rin siya i-restate dun sa reduced value. Okay? Na kung saan mag-recognize ka ng tinatawag na impairment loss. Okay? Any revaluation surplus recognized previously is eliminated kasi nga lahat ng revaluation surplus under hyperinflation economy is mawawala kasi nga bumababa yung value. Retained earnings would be the balancing figure in the restated financial statement. So kapag nagkaroon ng adjustment ng restatement, lahat ng adjustment is mapupunta dun sa equity item mo na retained earnings. And when the comparative statements are prepared, the non-monetary items of the preceding years are expressed in terms of index number at the end of the current year. Kasi kailangan i-reflect mo yung index price dun sa monetary items. Okay? So, hanggang doon na lang muna, no, ang ating hyperinflationary economy, no. So, kung meron kang katanungan, further clarification, comment down below, no. So, salamat sa pakikinig. Hanggang sa muli. Paalam.